All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Building Your Presence with Jordan and Katie Kessler with the Carroll-Kessler team. So, Jordan and Katie, before we kind of start jumping into this thing, tell us about your guys' team real quick. So, tell us what it comprises of and kind of how this thing has been built over the last couple of years.
Yeah, you bet. We'd be happy to. We were looking forward to have the Zoom call today, but we're the Carroll-Kessler team. It started with my dad, Jim Carroll, and then later my mom and I joined him about 13 years ago. And then Jordan Kessler, he joined us, which is my husband. He joined us, what was it, about 6 years ago? Maybe 5.
About 5.5.
Yeah. And we also have TJ on our team. He is also a licensed appraiser. And then we have Christy as well. She's kind of our client experience director. So anything you want to add to that, Jordan?
Nope, you nailed it.
Nailed it. All right. So, guys, tell us a bit about you two, right? Like, what do you guys look as your role in the organization as far as steering the ship or the lead generation, or like what makes you guys passionate about this business right now?
Do you want to go ahead, Jordan?
Sure. Yeah. No. As far as roles go, I'd say Katie's the boss of the ship. I'm right next to her. Her and
I was just say we're team hand in hand. We tag team it very well.
We are a team, yeah, but you're the boss. But no, Katie and I, we basically run the team ourselves. All the decisions go through us. Katie's CEO, and I'm right there next to her. So all the decisions come through us. And we both have pretty strong whys for why we're in the industry. They're a little bit different with Katie growing up, and I'll let her talk about hers. And we just that's what fuels us as our why. We go back to that a lot. We revisit our why because it changes as your family grows and goals change. But Katie, I'll let Katie talk about hers because it's pretty important and it really applies to our team.
Well, it's very interesting you say as far as your whys can change over time. And that's something I think I've really learned getting into real estate. When I first got into real estate, my big why was family. And I'd say our big why is still family, but at that time it was a different meaning for us. My dad was in real estate so long. I grew up with the business that, for me, I wanted to carry on what he created in his legacy. And just as that was my big why is, it was my parents at that time for my family. I am an only child. And so, I am really close to my parents. And then Jordan and I, gosh, we've met probably about 12 years ago. We've been married almost 7. But then he got into real estate, or he had interest in real estate when we were expecting our first boy. So in our little boy, Leo, he's 5. And at that time, as far as Jordan, he had interest getting into real estate, and it's evolved because now our why is still family, but it's for different reasons. Yes, it's still carrying on the business that as far as my dad created, but at the same time too, it's we're establishing a business for ourselves, our family, the Kesslers, and then also just creating the life that we want for our family, for our 2 kids.
Yeah. That perfect example today, both we have a 5 and a 2.5-year-old. They both had dentist appointments today. Katie and I got to go to their dentist appointments. We get to go to their doctor's appointments. I think my big why is shifted for, our big goals, our big vision is to be to a point someday where we don't have to miss a practice or a game or a recital or anything like that. So we're, at this point, we're addicted to the lifestyle. Yeah, we work a whole lot more than, and not just us, everybody in the real estate industry. People don't realize how much, we work at night and on weekends, but it's so we can go to dentist appointments on Tuesday mornings. So that's a big piece of it.
Yeah. No, super love that, guys, because when I start thinking about your team and I start thinking about how the Jim Carroll team, and then it was family driven. And then as you guys have merged the synergies together with the Carroll-Kessler team, like it's still a family driven team and environment, which is awesome. So as we're kind of going through this on the agenda, right, we're going to be talking about your neighborhood yard sale, your events, taking the mind share. Like you guys do a lot of direct mail pieces and physical assets, repping the brand. I was talking to Jordan about this the other day. He's like, oh, we could be a little bit better, but I feel like most everything that I see with you guys, there is something repping the brand in there. And then talking a little bit about just your Facebook business page and what you're doing to kind of take some mind share around there. So tell us a little bit about your neighborhood yard sale. Like what made you pick your location? What does the prep look like? What's the intent? Like, what are you looking to get out of this event? And then besides actually putting the sign in the yard, like what actual steps do we need to take to host a successful neighborhood yard sale?
Yeah. As far as the yard sale, picking our location, this is something that we brought back. It's something that my dad used to do back in the day. And it was the neighborhood that you live in. So as far as, that's something back in the neighborhood I grew up in, it was Meadow Glen. That's something that it was the neighborhood that we lived in. It was the neighborhood that we farmed. Now we live out west in Spring Mesa, so that's where we are farming that subdivision, and so that was a good presence for us. We live there, and it's our farm area, so that's why we picked that location. And so as far as prepping for the event, do you want to go on with that one, Jordan?
No, because you do all that, so you talk about it.
As I said, for prepping, it's just getting the word out. We've done it different ways. This is our second year doing it in Spring Mesa. There used to be another very dominant realtor who lived in the neighborhood who sponsored it, but then she moved out. And so that's where we figured, let's continue on, and we had that opportunity. So, as far as this, we've done it 2 years now. The first year for prepping for it, what we did is we ended up door knocking postcards. For us, we try to door knock as much as we can in our farm area, just as far as, that belly to belly interaction. If we get it, that's great. But, and what we did, we dropped postcards to save the date. Our neighborhood garage sale is coming up. And then, if we just left it on doors, and if people were out and about, we would tell them about it. So as far as for prepping for it, I'd say first thing is just getting the word out and setting a date. And what we try to do is we try to be consistent too, as far as, the second weekend in May. That way people kind of know it's coming. If they weren't able to participate one year, maybe they can plan for it for the next. And so as I say, as far as we send out save the dates early, and this year we did a mailer save the date. I actually have it right here. And what we did was we also sponsor the Easter egg hunt in our neighborhood. So I guess the first year here, you can see it. We kind of just door knocked with a postcard here as far as letting people know about it. And then we also advertise something that we sponsor is we provide an ice cream truck at the end for the whole neighborhood. So whether you participate in the garage sale or not, there's still an ice cream social on that last day. So that was the first year that we did it. The second one, we do our Easter egg hunt. So we just sent out save the date postcards, which then have both dates on there. So this was sent out early, that we had our Easter egg hunt coming April 16th, and then that May 13th and 14th. And so we are posting it, as far as I would say, whether door knocking or direct mailer, but then also advertising. There was a Facebook page next door. And then we asked our HOA to put it in the newsletter as well. That way they know of upcoming events. But our intent is that way it's an opportunity for people to participate in the garage sale. And then they can, as far as that's something that we advertise for them. And they just have to they don't have to worry about putting signs out, running ads. They
don't have to worry if somebody's going to show up or not, because who wants to go through the work of putting together a yard sale, getting everything out if nobody's going to come. So, and obviously the intent is to help the neighbors come from contribution first, but it's something that people like to do every year. And we get to get in front of people. Like Katie said, we door knock first. It's a great touch there. Katie will, halfway through, she'll either leave me or somebody else, and she'll go around and talk to all the participants. And we try to get out and talk to the people as they're doing their garage sale. And just, the goal is to just stay top of mind. There's nothing real estate related with this, but once they start seeing our other stuff go out that we'll talk about, the intent is to be top of mind, and this is a good way to help the neighbors.
It seems like for garage sales, for our neighborhood, it's pretty spaced out. So that's one reason we do a map just showing where other homes are. But if somebody was just doing a garage sale themselves, a lot of times people don't make it back this way. So if there's multiple, we advertise a multi-family garage sale, we've had great turnouts. And as far as there's other stuff you can do as far as just those little extra steps for the participants. I know in past years, my dad used to take them breakfast in the morning, or for the people that were participating, just, it's just those little gestures that you can do. I'm trying to think of anything else, but then for the ice cream, everybody comes at the end. And so that's a good way just to, whether they participate or not, it just gets our names in the neighborhood.
Yep.
Yeah. So what you guys are doing, right, is you're going through and you're door knocking with some postcards that you have made about, hey, our annual Spring Mesa garage sale is coming up Friday and Saturday. Would you like to be interested in partaking in this? And then jot down their address, then going back and putting in a map so that people can actually hand out and know where to go for this multi-family yard sale. And you're just taking massive mind share because, yes, people love, for whatever reason, putting their stuff on the sidewalk and selling it. And you're coming from contribution, your signs out there, and then you feed the neighborhood with ice cream and sugar.
Yep. And then another thing too is the picture that you have there. Jordan had all the banners made. And so, as far as we're consistent, it's always Friday and Saturday. We don't put exact times on there, which are reasons just because if things change over the years, at least we can still reuse the banner.
Perfect. Love that pro tip, right? Don't get too specific on it. And then you can just keep reusing it and you don't have to come out of pocket for anything else. Love that. You too.
One of the banners that we post out on Quaker, because then that way for drive-by, it's more brand awareness there.
Yeah, love it. So events. And so we got a couple different things up here. We have your Veterans Day breakfast. We have your Easter egg hunt, which you alluded to in the last slide. And then you even have like an open house event where you're doing like a sip and see. Will you guys kind of break this down, and Santa as well, on the mind share pieces that you guys are doing around these, and like who gets invited to these specific events?
Yeah. Jordan, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I mean, all of our, we try to, again, we try not to reinvent the wheel with the events that we do. We just take advantage of them. The Easter egg hunt, and again, this all stems from what Jim used to do in Meadow Glen. For starters, for the Easter egg hunt, it's something that the kids love to do. It's super easy for us to put together, and we just get a ton of people out. So specifically for our Easter egg hunt, it's everybody in our neighborhood, and then we usually go through our database, kind of pick out our A's, B's, and C's with kids, and they get invited as well. We've done in the past, we come out of pocket on some stuff, but people remember it. Everybody mentions the breakfast burritos that we always have at this event. It's just the little things like that. But the Easter egg hunt it's a great opportunity to get out there and hang your banner up. Katie and I stay up late sometimes and fill Easter eggs with candy and change, and we get some neighbors to donate some gifts and stuff. But again, it's just something simple that gets us out in front of our neighbors, allows us to hang a banner up, talk, have some coffee, and just be in front of our neighbors.
Yeah.
Awesome. So as you're kind of going through that and you're talking about inviting your neighbors and your A, B, and C clients, love that, because that's huge where we can do it multifaceted. Yes, we're pouring into the neighborhood, and let's not forget the people that are already supporting us.
Right.
But you did say have some of the neighbors get involved. Are you going to neighbors that own businesses, or are they just, your average, we have a relationship with them and we're pouring into the community and seeing if they want to participate as well?
Yeah, I think
Easter
when
egg,
Katie, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say for the Easter egg hunt, that one we stick with mainly, we advertise it as the Spring Mesa Easter egg hunt. And so that one we have, I'd say the majority just neighbors. But then, so that's where we're able to get the neighbors within the neighborhood to help donate. But then when we did go, we actually had a past client who, she actually is the manager at Lot 1. She donated gift certificates that we were able to raffle off just because that's one of the restaurants close by to Spring Mesa. So that one there, we were able to raffle off some prizes.
But we are reaching out to vendors. I believe we had 3 vendors donate gift cards that we're able to, raffle off. We just hand out tickets and do a raffle at the end there and keep the kids involved.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Easter egg hunt's a big deal. The sip and sees are super beneficial because we found out a lot of people in our neighborhood like to drink wine. So that's been very helpful for getting people through the door. And that's something Katie and Christy really take on. But it's basically the first open house for our listings in our neighborhood, and basically we bring in, it's pretty well done. Katie and Christy do a really good job with it, but we always have a few different types of beverages, some really nice hors d'oeuvres, some desserts, and it's because neighbors are nosy and they want to see what other people's, especially if they have the same floor plan, because in our neighborhood we have 5 or 6 main floor plans. So people want to come by and see what the neighbors have done. And it's just a great opportunity to, again, get in front of our neighbors.
Yeah, and this is something we do within our neighborhood. We've also done it outside our neighborhood. But what we have found was we start showings during the sip and see at that 5 o'clock time. So, you have the neighbors over, they're talking about how great the neighborhood is. Oh, I like how they did this update. I like so they're creating that energy around the showings, because the people that are first in there are the ones that really want to see it as well. So we kind of treat it as a broker open showing start, but then invite the neighbors as well. And so for instance, like the one for Spring Mesa, we invite all of Spring Mesa. That's something where it's in our farm area. We want to get the word out there for our team, but then for other listings, we'll door knock, I would say just the surrounding area. But we do door knock as far as actually for the Spring Mesa one, we did door knock for the sip and see. So I think it was over 13 miles to door knock it, but it was worth it. So
Katie did that one on her own. And then Katie recently had a really good idea. The most recent one we sold in Spring Mesa, the sellers are buying a boat and are going to go sail around the Caribbean for the rest of their time on Earth. So Katie had a great idea and said, let us throw you a bon voyage party. And it was basically a sip and see, but on the back end, it was an opportunity for the neighbors to come say bye to their neighbors. And again, we brought in some beverages, some snacks, some desserts, and invited the neighbors. And I bet we had 40 or 50 people show up.
Yeah, and we made the invitation. It said like hosted by the Carroll-Kessler team, but then we let the sellers actually invite who they wanted. That way they could have their own little party. And then we made it a
going away party.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And so what I think that I just heard was you're implementing the same thing where you're going through, you're getting the postcards pre-made, and you're going around and you're knocking on neighbors' doors and you're inviting them to come check out what the Joneses did. And they're coming through, and then you're creating a lot of buzz around the house, as well as taking a lot of mind share. And then once the neighbor is moving out, you're like, well, what neighbors and who do we need to call to throw you a party? So that, this is your last day in this house. Let's do something special. Like, that's huge, guys. I've heard it on the back end or the front end where you do a welcome party. Are you guys doing anything on that end, or just some of the ending pieces right now?
I'd say more just the ending. Oh, actually, I take that back. Jordan just I thought you meant a welcome party for the new buyer of that house. But that one, I was gonna say, since that one we didn't, but as far as our home buyers that we help, we have done housewarming parties. Jordan just threw a housewarming party for one of his friends and got a food truck. And so, we got to meet a lot of their friends. A lot of them have interest. Oh, we might be buying here soon. So I'd say just creating the buzz around that. They're very appreciative of that.
They are, because more often than not, you'll hear the comments like, "Oh, my realtor got me my realtor didn't even get me anything, and yours got you a food truck. Holy cow!" And it doesn't have to be a food truck. It's just it's that Katie's dad always says anything works and nothing doesn't. So it was a good opportunity to get out in front of people on the front end on that one, doing the doing the hosting the welcome party. Because a food truck can be kind of expensive at the price point we were at. It made sense. You kind of have to scale it. But if it's buying some drinks or catering, Chipotle or Qdoba for a swarming party, that's a few $100s.
Yeah.
And it's more, if anything, it's the fact that you offered to do it, the thought that you tried to do it.
If you get one referral out of it, it pays for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's just one thing to think as far as, I'd say about 98% referral based. So if you do a good job for people, they're going to tell their friends and family. Right. And so that's our same mindset, same concept for our neighborhood. We want to do a good job for the neighbors. So then the other neighbors see that and, word gets around. And I guess going on as far as events, we have the Santa one too. So this is from last year. We actually advertised that for Spring Mesa, but then invited our sphere as well. So like Jordan said, our AB, that's one that we opened. It wasn't a Spring Mesa Santa event. We have to be careful how we advertise it as well. Just because, like, for instance, it's a Spring Mesa Easter egg hunt, we just sponsor it. As far as the Santa event, that's something we're actually putting on ourselves. And so then that's where we can decide who to invite. But that was when we invited the neighborhood, and then we also invited our clients. It ended up being a super windy day, and we were setting up in the park and it was not going to work out. Everything was just blowing all over the place. So we actually came back to our house and used our front porch. So we had to go stick signs. Jordan had to go stick signs out. And then just so that way we could direct people to our house, just because it was more, I guess, shielded from the wind.
Yep.
So this year we're going to do a different location. We do the same events every year. Basically, we have our Easter egg hunt in the beginning of the year, or in April. We have our garage sale in May. We do a client appreciation in August, which we do a Rockies event. That one there we pick as far as, people that we've done business with recently or that refers us business. And then come after August would be our next one is our veterans. We do invite clients to Trick or Treat Street at our office. That's a great opportunity for everybody, as far as letting people know that Old Town Arvada does their Trick or Treat Street and the office is hosting as well. So make sure to tell people about that. That's an event that the office is putting on, and you just have to show up, help out, donate some candy. And so it's a great opportunity to reach out to people that
Yep.
And I'd say that's our October 1 Veterans Day breakfast. We've done this at the office prior. Space wise, we're actually going to be doing it at the Elks Club this year. So that's something that we send out to our veterans who are clients or veterans that we know, and invite them to breakfast.
Yep. Family, anybody in our database. And that's something Jim's been doing for years that we're still doing. And we usually have 15 to 30 vets show up, and they're just always so appreciative of it. It's a great opportunity to get back to your clients and friends that served, which is important to us.
Yeah.
And then our last one is the Santa one. So this year we're actually going to do an indoor event or an indoor venue. And then we're still going to invite our sphere and then also Spring Mesa. We'll see if people from the neighborhood show up, but at least we know we have a secure location.
Yeah, without dealing with weather. Yeah.
Wind or snow, or it's safe.
Yeah. I'm sure Jordan super appreciates that after what he got to experience last year. Correct. So my big takeaway on this slide was let's host some events, and if we can get some mileage out of it, whether it is the preview with the neighbors, and then the goodbye party where maybe some of the same neighbors and plus the seller's friends, and then even potentially doing the buy side, the welcome to the neighborhood, like just taking massive mind share.
And the best thing before we move on, for events, there is so much opportunity to connect with people. For our business, it's relationship based. So, as far as you're sending out the save the dates, you're inviting them. If there's an RSVP, you can reach out and say, oh, I haven't heard. Are you going to be able to make our Easter egg hunt this year or our Santa event? So it gives you opportunity to reach out. But then at the end as well is, as far as that, thank you for coming. Oh, I have this really cute picture of Santa and the kids. Let me send it to you. And just in case you didn't get it, it's just a lot of part of that follow up as well.
Yeah.
So, and we always, and I guess back to, since we kind of talked about farming our neighborhood, we also do the food drive that's coming up. So that's something where we door knock the neighborhood as far as for the food drive, bags, flyers. But then when we are finished, we send everybody a thank you card as well.
Yep. Whether they participated or not, everybody gets a thank you card for it.
Awesome. I like that pro tip as well. So guys, as you're going through, you guys do a lot of things with calendars and schedules, and tell us a little bit about like this. I feel like old school real estate, right? As we're getting in and they're getting the calendars with the real estate team on it. They're getting the Rockies, the Broncos, the insert whatever schedule here. And then plus you're also reminding people on social media, like, who gets these? Like, is this a farm? Is it your sphere of influence? What does this look like to you guys?
Yeah, the calendar. So first off, Katie has something that we put together, and we put it together at the end of every year. We usually do it after the New Year's, once we've reset. It's called our playbook. And basically we have everything set for the year printed. There it is right there, the playbook. And if we're planning on doing, so we plan on sending these calendars out and to make sure people get them before the holidays. We have stuff in the playbook to make sure that happens, which is, getting them ordered in June, start stuffing them in November. The Broncos schedules, that's on our playbook in July, so they can get them by August before the football season starts. So,
which it's funny, not to interrupt you, Jordan, but I know he mentioned stuffing calendars in November. We actually get them by October. We have to send them out in November. Otherwise we start getting calls. People want to know where their calendars are because they already need a plan next year. So if we don't have them out by, like we've had a fiasco before where we didn't get them out to December, everybody was worried they weren't getting calendars. Maybe that was a good thing to connect with people, but
was the train car that had our calendars, like the axle broke in like the middle of Illinois or something like that. And this train car was just stuck in the middle of nowhere. So it was kind of a disaster. But as far as to have, we call this our passive marketing plan, which is our schedules, our calendars, the sports schedules. I mean, we also have a newsletter. It's a quarterly newsletter that I write. It gives an update of the homes we've sold recently. It gives a snapshot of the market, what the market's doing. We always try to include something, which is a like last newsletter in the spring, we partnered with STR, which is a company that does air duct cleaning because of after the fires. So you call in their local company, you say, hey, I'm going to send this out to, and in our case, we send ours to about 1,000 people, and say, hey, if I send this out to 1,000 people, can you do some sort of a coupon? And every time they say yes, because it's free advertising for them. We always try to put something in for contribution there, but the goal is to be mailing them something just about every month.
You do scratch pads with it.
And we send scratch pads with it as well.
Jordan had the good idea of putting a magnet on the back, so people actually have been sticking them to their fridges.
Right. But the goal is, again, just one, provide something that they'll use, a Broncos schedule, a Rockies schedule. People absolutely love the calendars still, even when, most calendars are on people's phones, people like getting things in the mail.
There's different, I guess one thing my dad would say, and, for calendars, there's different ones that you can get. A lot of times you can get the ones that have your info at the bottom. Well, and it's on the last page. People just cut that off and save the calendar. So we have ours in the middle where they actually have to keep our info. So
on every page,
on every day of the month, they get to see the brand. I love it.
Right there.
No, but Katie's right. If we don't get those out in time, we start getting phone calls. Where's my calendar? Can I get two? So who gets one of these? Everybody in our database gets one of these. And everybody and our farm gets one. So it's quite a bit of marketing for us, but for us, what's the expected ROI to measure the calendars? Couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you, for us, it's all it's all one big working factory for the passive marketing. For the amount of comments that we get though, oh, I love your calendars. Oh, I love your scratch pads. Oh, I look forward to this. I suppose that's how we could measure our ROI on that, but I don't think we can measure it.
It's more brand awareness as well. Just, like Jordan said, it's almost every month that we're getting something out. So at least we're just staying in front of people.
Yeah, if business gets slow, we'll just hold off on mailing calendars so they have to call us. That's how we spark conversations.
Yeah,
too. Jordan mentioned the newsletter. We either do it quarterly or we'll do it, I would say, twice. I don't know. So we used to do the newsletter about 3 times a year. Now we've been doing it about twice a year. And then we end the year also with the calendar. We do a holiday letter and then the calendar. So kind of what our newsletters look like. We do them different as far as this is like kind of our Spear newsletter. We do something different, but then we also have our farm newsletter because people want to know what's selling in their neighborhood. So that's something that's then different. And then that one is just neighborhood specific as far as what homes have been selling in the neighborhood. And then we have this is one that actually got.
That's so super easy to do. And Katie started doing the Spring Mesa one. I mean, guys, it's, we're on Canva. You make a template. You take all the information from the MLS. You don't have to be the one selling the homes. You're just letting them know what's sold and for how much. You do have to designate on there, that you didn't sell those particular homes.
Right.
But it's, with postage and having them printed, I mean, it's less than $250 every time you do it. It's just a great way to get out in front of people and provide information to them.
Yeah, and we like to keep our templates the same and then maybe switch it up a little bit because then they recognize it like, oh, here's another one. We don't recreate the wheel every time. It's like Jordan said, you can just do something in Canva and then, plug and play. So I have to say it's interesting because we get a newsletter from a pretty dominant team in the Arvada area, and they send it out to West Arvada, but they have so much on there that it's just so busy. So keep it simple because as far as if you look at it, it's just very overwhelming that they have so much on there.
We've had, Charles, just in the last 4 months, we've had 2 listing appointments in the neighborhood. One of them said, we called you because we like how much you interact in our community. And the second, he must have had every piece of mail we've ever sent him since we started farming this neighborhood. He goes, I like what you guys send out. It looks great. So
that's awesome. No, that's great to hear. And I think what was cool about what you guys said is that if you ever want to do any reverse prospecting or what we call a bold 100 in KW is have everyone expecting the calendar at a certain date and just hold off and don't send it off for a couple months and they'll start calling you.
Right.
And it is because you guys have these silent salesmen, right? And so that's awesome. So we don't know what the ROI looks like, but you just said that at least 2 deals this year, this month, that you can say, yes, absolutely, it was our information that they've been seeing our face over and over and over again, and it got you 2 listing appointments, and you guys secured the deals.
Right.
And then take it even a step further, as far as our social media presence, that's something that we can go down a rabbit hole with that. But then when we are doing these events, we're also promoting it online too, and then people are seeing it that way. And this that as far as we want to stay top of mind and brand awareness.
Yep. No, that's awesome.
And also it's fun too. We like doing events. It gives us a chance to actually, we're not picking up the phone calling people, but we're doing those belly to belly interactions. So we should be calling them more, but at the same time too, then at least we're having these events. Like for our Rockies event, we provide a lunch prior to the game. That way that gives us the chance to actually talk with everybody before the game starts.
Yeah. So I think what we're looking at right now is about 1,000 pieces of mail going out with some coupons in it and some different pieces. So you guys are doing obviously just sold, just listed, under contract. And then what else are we sending out? You said that you're doing the newsletter, you're doing the scratch pads. Anything else that we might be looking at if we were to implement some direct mail pieces to our clients and databases?
I would say that just solds are so important only because I got a call this morning from a just sold that we sent out 2 years ago. When this lady told me, she goes, yeah, you sold my neighbor's house, and she told me the address. I'm thinking that was summer of COVID. That was 2020 that we sent that just sold out. So I can't stress how important that stuff is. But I think that's, that's really it, is our just listed, our just solds, our sip and sees to our neighborhoods. And then the, the newsletters that we stuff there. I think that's it as far as mailers go, isn't it, Katie? It's something.
Or something that, they'll hold on to. So like, for instance, when we have like our newsletter, Jordan mentioned the air duct cleaning, something that maybe they'll hold on to. We've done a recipe before. I would say that's hit or miss. My dad would say a calendar they keep all year. So yes, they're not cheap to do, but as far as not everybody's going to keep the calendar, but what are people actually going to hold on to? That's why we also do just the sports schedules, just because hopefully they'll stick those on their fridge and it has a magnet on it. But at least the Broncos schedule, that's going to be up during all football season.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
it's great when you go on appointments and you see that, like when you're walking around the house and you see that they have them up. So
you guys are walking into people's houses in your neighborhood and they just got pictures of you on their refrigerator.
The worst is when you're showing a house though and you see your calendar hung up and you're like, hey now we're going to take that down.
right someone's on the naughty list now.
Right.
So guys, let's talk about repping the brand a little bit. So I know that, like I said, Jordan and I were talking about this the other day, but I feel like there's quite a few pictures out there where the brand is present. Like, what does this look like for you guys? Obviously, during times of COVID, and that was an accessory that we had to wear every day. You guys went out and got branded masks. There's hats. The kids are posing with a yard sign. Like, how important is it to get the brand out there?
It's very important. As I say, we use our kids too. That picture that was take your kids to work day. So I posted a picture and we were sticking a home for sale arrow out. So for us, for social media, and then it's always top of mind.
Yeah, I think people want to know that you're a normal beer drinking, wine drinking human, just like they are with kids. And social media is huge for us to stay in front of, our clients are our friends. So we want to be top of mind, present with them. So we certainly try to be tasteful with our posts, and not every post is just listed, just sold. It's, our kids in the backseat with a home for sale sign, because it's, they get a fresh look at, what life really looks like for us. Right.
Yeah. We are very purposeful with our post.
Yeah. The branded stuff, I love hats. I'm wearing a hat right now. If you see me without a hat, it's very odd. So I thought, why not get some hats made up? We've done polos and jackets and vests in the past, and we could probably do it better, but brand awareness, in our opinion, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's super important. We
try to brand our clothing gifts. That's something that we get something personally made for them, but it has our logo on the back of it. So that way, hopefully they'll hold on to that. And that, like, for instance, what we have made up for them, granted, that should hopefully remind them, but we still want to stay top of mind. If they're taking it off the wall and they're like, oh yeah, that's who our agent was. Hopefully they're not saying that, because we've stayed in touch with them, but time does go on.
Yep.
Absolutely. So guys, when we start looking at your Facebook, right, and this is your business page, I'm seeing a lot of photos, and they're very clean and they're very purposeful and purpose driven. What should we be looking to do on our business page? And obviously there's way more than just houses. I saw these and I was like, I love them, and I just started ripping all of them off the internet. But like, what are some of the things that we should be looking to do on our business pages to take massive mind share?
That's tough, because I know what Katie's about to say.
I was gonna say what you're gonna say.
We take our mind share, we feel, on our personal page, to be honest with you.
Yeah, sounds terrible. As far as I know, there's nothing wrong with using your business page, and
Right.
that's something that's a goal of ours. We've actually had more business come from our personal page. That's been our direct focus, that we haven't done much with our business page, and we should. As far as I know, that stuff you can plan ahead of time. I'd say, for if anything, you want to try to engage activity or a call of action. I know with business pages, it's better to have a call of action versus your business or your personal page. But as far as just trying to find engaging posts where people want to share it, they want to comment on it, interact, try to take a creative angle rather than, and so this one here shows a lot of our front of our listings. But as far as this, sometimes we'll take a picture of something more random. Like, for instance, I would say one of these homes had a really cool shed in the backyard. So we posted something about the shed rather than the house. And then it created people wanting to know more than about the house.
Yeah.
So, and I guess for us, our social media, we want just for people to know that we're out doing real estate. That way we're top of mind. Oh, I need a real estate team. They think of us. So, as far as like, yesterday I just did a short story, like showed homes and then posted a picture with me with the kids at the pool. Like that, yes, I enjoyed Labor Day, but we did still show homes on Labor Day. We are still working.
Yeah. What I like about what Katie just said is that, yes, there's a business page, and that's not the focus. And I think that there's two different schools of thought, and neither one of them is wrong, right? Your guys' business is sphere of influence, referrals, and geographical farm. So people know you in the neighborhood, they know you online, they know you in the community. And so that's where you're building the relationships. You're not using the business page to build those relationships because you already have them. So now they're just getting to know you at a different level. So I'm with Katie 100%. I don't think that you need to have a business page unless you're going to be super purposeful, driven about getting not met people and bringing them into your ecosystem. These people are already in your ecosystem. You're just letting them know a little bit more about you.
Right.
Love it. So guys, as we're going through this, and we've talked about the yard sale, the events, Facebook, the brand, the calendars, the direct mail, like if I'm a new agent or an agent that's looking to change some things up as we're heading into Q4 through the shifting market, like what should we do? Where should we start? Like, what would you guys suggest would be like our first thing that we should evaluate?
I'll be curious to see what Jordan says, but my thoughts is start with Facebook. Or building the brand of yourself. I would say, as far as, yes, building a brand, that's something that, as far as be consistent with it. Our logo, we used to be the Jim Carroll team. We still stuck with the same logo, but then we just switched it to the Carroll-Kessler team. We didn't want to switch up, as far as we want kind of that image to be recognizable.
Yeah. I'd say find your demographic first, right? If you're older and your main, your peers aren't that into social media, which is the case for some people, then find how to target them. That's, really belly to belly stuff, getting out in front of them. If you're comfortable with it, for us, it's been social media. It's been Facebook and Instagram. And the cool thing is, there's some agents in our office that are already doing this, but you don't have to be selling 10 homes a month to look busy doing real estate. There's a lot of things you can do. There's a lot of good content you can put out there to let people know that you're doing real estate related activities. Doesn't mean you're selling 10 homes a month, and that's fine. You'll get there. But it's building content and putting it out there in a very tasteful way that people don't want to block you. They want to know you're a human being and that you're staying busy in real estate. That way, when a question comes up, they think, oh, they're always doing stuff real estate related. I bet they would know. I'll message them. So yeah, I would say start building your brand. However you feel comfortable, start building your brand. Start letting people know you're in real estate, however you feel comfortable doing that. I know Charles has heard me say it a few times. When I did Ignite my very first time, I was just like, oh my God, I have to do for sale by owners, and I have to do all this cold calling, and I have to go do door knocking, and I got to do all my social media. And I was so overwhelmed until I finally realized, like, I need to pick one of these and do it really, really, really well, as opposed to trying to do all of them and doing all of them, very, mediocre, right? Find what works for you and go all in.
Yeah. So just pick the CRM, right? Like whether it's your phone, if it's Facebook, if it's Instagram, you're a part of a club, whatever that looks like, wherever your people are, go meet them there, be that real estate economist of choice, and just pour into it at a very, very high level. Is that what I'm hearing from both of you?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, guys, I super appreciate you jumping on the call today and breaking this down for us. Very excited to see what you guys do for the rest of the year, and I know there's a couple more events, and excited to see those things pop up on social media and see how the community engages with you. So, Jordan, Katie, thank you for your guys' time today.
You bet. Thanks for facilitating it.
Yes.